Hi, I'm Amira. I'm an artist and paint instructor in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm so glad that you're here to do this paint and sip. It's Valentine's Day themed. This is my very first one online. I've been teaching in wine bars and all that kind of stuff, and now I have a YouTube channel. So let's get to it. A few things before we start. This is going to be a mystery paint and sip, so you're not actually going to know what it is exactly that we're painting, but you'll know it's Valentine's Day themed. I'm wearing red for the occasion. Don't skip ahead to the end because it'll be revealed, which I know you'll be tempted to do, but trust me, I know we just met, some of us, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun, I promise, and don't skip ahead because just let it be a surprise. Okay, so a few things that you're going to need. We are going to need a canvas. I'm using an 8x10. I have links in the video description for all of the supplies, but I have an 8x10 canvas. I have a little easel, which is optional. Like, you don't really need an easel, but if you want to be in like the studio setting, or maybe you have a giant easel, totally fine. A few other things. I will be using 3 different brushes. So I've got a big brush that I'm going to be using. It's about 1 inch. It's flat. We have a medium-sized brush, which is also flat on the edge, and we also have a teeny tiny detail brush. So I'll be using all 3. If you have a variation of these, again, don't stress it. Totally fine. Doesn't matter really. As far as paints, we need paint water. Try not to drink that. It happens sometimes. Just spit it out. Try not to do it again. I have had that happen once during one of my classes, and I actually haven't heard from them, but I'm sure they're fine. But anyways, back to this. We are gonna need some paint. For today, we only need red, yellow, blue, which are our primaries, and then white and black. Again, I have links in the description to Amazon, paint colors, all the things. You will need a napkin. Mine's kind of icky because I'm an artist, I've been using it. It's fine, but you need a napkin. We'll be using it. Paintbrushes, canvas, obviously, and water. And with that, that's it. I think that's all that we need. You need something to drink. I'm drinking water. My wine glass actually broke before I started this video, so I'll have to get a new wine glass. But I hope you're drinking something. I hope you're eating food. I hope you're ready to have fun because I'm ready. And with that, let's get to it. Okay, so starting on my canvas with our mystery Valentine's Day themed painting, I'm gonna start with my big brush. You know, again, if you have a variation of brush sizes, totally fine. Just use the biggest one you've got. We are going to start with blending together, and we're gonna do a lot of blending. If you haven't done that, again, don't worry, we're gonna walk through it. So, okay, starting with my big brush, I'm gonna go ahead and get it wet in my water. Not sopping wet. Go ahead and dab it off on your napkin if it's like dripping wet, but you just want it to be a little moist. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of white. So I'm taking a good scoop because, spoiler, we're gonna cover the entirety of our canvas in this color. So I'm gonna use a bit of white, and then I'm just taking the corner of my brush and I'm gonna take a bit of red. And I'm gonna mix those together until I get like a really nice light pink, which I'm obsessed with pink. So I love this color, and it's Valentine's, so we're using pink. Okay, mixing that together, I've got a really nice pink going, and then what I'm gonna do, you ready for it? Take a drink of whatever you're drinking, tea, wine, whatever, but we're gonna do our first brush stroke on our canvas. So take a sip, get relaxed, make sure your music's going at a good volume that I can yell over it. Perfect, okay. I'm ready, you're ready, we're ready. Okay, so we're gonna cover the entirety of our canvas in this pink color. So go ahead and just cover your canvas. If you wanna do long brush strokes, that's fine. Little dabs, that's fine. If you're getting these like kind of white marks like this, that means that you don't have enough water on your brush. So me and you, whoever you are, we are gonna get a little more water on our brush, dab it back into our paint, and oh my gosh, look at that, such a difference. Go ahead and cover your paint. Go ahead and cover your canvas in this paint color. Barbie pink. Look at us. We are being Barbie. Barbie for Valentine's Day. Oh no. You're gonna need a lot of this light pink too. So I'm mixing a little more as I speak because I didn't make enough, but that's okay. Keep going, the whole thing. I mean it, the whole thing. Cover that canvas in this color. I need some more water. I'm only a third of the way there. So if you're about where this is, that's fine. No need to pause at this moment. You've not missed anything. I'm just getting my bearings. I'm used to teaching standing up, but you know, not walking around and looking at everybody is different. If you want to know a secret, my mom is here and I'm, you know, painting with her, so I don't feel like I'm by myself with my camera, but I'm with you too, you know, and if you're with a group of friends, then hello everyone. I'm Amira. I hope this is fun for all of us because I'm having fun. Wow, this is a Barbie pink. Look at her go. Look at her go, Kylie. So at this point, I'm like, I kind of need a bigger brush for this, but that's fine. We're gonna do what we're doing. The whole thing, guys, the whole canvas in this light pink color. Okay, I'm almost there. Oops. And if you remember to do your edges, good. I always forget, so I never end up painting like the edges of my canvas, but if you remember to do them and you paint them pink, then you are a better artist than me because I always forget. Okay, so now my canvas looks like this. The whole thing has been covered in this light pink color. And if you're not here yet, go ahead and pause, wait till your canvas is done. And the next thing I'm gonna do actually, instead of pausing, go ahead and give your canvas a little waft. We're gonna paint on top of this and we wanna make sure it's dry. And if you've used a lot of paint, then it might be a little wet. You can test it with your finger every once in a while. But yeah, go ahead and give your canvas a waft. I can see mine still glistening. Waft your neighbor, you know, waft yourself. If you're painting alone, waft me. Thanks, okay. Okay, I'm so excited about this. The next thing we're gonna do, go ahead and pop your large brush back in the water. We're gonna retire it for today. We don't need it anymore. We are gonna move along. Once your canvas is dry, you know, again, test it with your finger if you need, but we're moving along. We're gonna make red, which is really easy because if you have red on your canvas, you're just gonna grab a clump of red. Don't mix it with anything. We've just got red. Okay, I've got red on my medium-sized brush. And if you've been painting like this horizontally, we're gonna transfer our canvas so it's vertically. Totally fine if you're using like a square canvas or whatever canvas you have, totally fine. If it's bigger than this, again, that's fine. I hope you have bigger brushes for that, but you know, we're doing this. Okay, so next thing, we are going to start on the kind of like right-hand side of our canvas, and I'm gonna start with like a candy cane shape. On the right-hand side, kind of in the middle, I'm going to just draw a little bit, a candy cane, and I'm gonna bring it back in like this. Just a little candy cane, just like that. This is what it looks like. If your canvas looks like this, you're on the right track. If it looks a little different, even better. Every canvas is supposed to look a little different. Okay, with a little more red, if you can't guess it, it's Valentine's Day themed. We're gonna draw another candy cane attached to this one, and it's gonna resemble something that looks kind of like a heart. But if you think that's what it is, it's not, so don't worry. This is a mystery after all. Okay, so here we go. I'm attaching another candy cane to where I've already painted. I'll do this a little closer. We're going to paint another little semicircle and then attach it at the bottom. But on the bottom, I want it to be a little flat. You know, heart shapes are so pointy on the bottom. We don't want that. That's a heart shape. We want this to be a little flat on the bottom. So like two candy canes joined together by a little flat piece on the bottom. Okay, this is what it looks like. Pause here if you're still drawing. But the next step is super easy. We are going to take our red paint and fill it in. Fill in the whole thing. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Amira, we just painted a heart. Like, it's Valentine's Day, florals for spring, groundbreaking. Yeah, no, I know what you're thinking. This isn't a heart. This isn't what it looks like. Trust me. Okay, we filled it in. Amazing. If you are on this stage, wonderful. Okay, we're about to move on. We're about to do something a little different that looks very similar. With my medium-sized brush, I'm still getting just red. No blending, no mixing, none of that, just red. Okay. And you know what? We've got a good thing going right here. We're gonna do it again. On the left side of your canvas, we're gonna do something a little similar. You might recognize it because you know what? We just did it, but we're gonna do it again. But it's gonna be on a different part of our canvas. You feel me? Okay. We're on the same page. So on the left side of our canvas, we're going to do the same thing. So I've got a little candy cane moment going, you know, starting at one end, bringing my other end down. Some people would say this is a half heart. It's not a half heart, but it looks like it. So if that helps you think about what you're doing, it's a half heart. We're painting half a heart. I need to get a little more paint on my brush. Okay, we've got a good thing going, a little half heart. And you know what? We've done this before. You're already a pro. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're gonna do another little candy cane, joining in the middle with a little straight line because hearts are boring and pointy and we don't want that. Little straight line at the bottom. Perfect. It looks like two hearts. It's not, but it does. Okay, go ahead and fill in the second two candy canes painted together. We're filling it in with just red. No blending, no mixing. We're just painting. Okay, this is kind of where I'm at. I know you think you know where this is going, but you don't know where this is going, unless you skipped ahead, which you definitely know where this is going. But for those of you that haven't skipped ahead, we don't know. We don't know where this is going. Okay, so with our medium-sized brush, go ahead and clean it off. In your water, not whatever you're drinking. Don't put it in what you're drinking, put it in your paint water. Should be two separate things. Okay, and then dab it off on your napkin so it's not sopping wet. Okay, now we're gonna do a little more blending. So, putting my little canvas down and grabbing my palette, we have blended together a light pink and we've just grabbed red. So we've already made two different colors. We're gonna make a third color. So I have a little bit of red paint here on my canvas, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix together a little bit of blue into it to kind of darken it. So yeah, that's a really dark purple. I've made kind of like this dark purple, and you know what? It's a little too dark for me. So you can compare. I've kind of got this blood red going. I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of white, just a little bit, and I'm gonna lighten it up a little. The idea here is I've already made a light pink, and I want this to be darker than what I've made before, which shouldn't be too hard. So as long as what you've got now is a little darker than the background color, we're on the right track. And you mixed it with a little blue, so it's kind of purple. Okay, so this is kind of the color that I've got. It's a little purpley. I might add a little more white to just lighten it up a tiny bit more. But I'm liking where we're going, and you'll see where we're going. Okay, we've got what looks like two hearts. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this purpley color and kind of paint a little shadow onto these little heart shapes. So I'm imagining that I have a light source where I am shining onto my canvas. So our shadows are gonna be on the right side of our shapes. So starting with the heart on the right-hand side, I'm gonna add a tiny little shadow just on the top of the heart right here, just right there. Easy, easy peasy. Next thing I'm gonna do, on this, the far right side of my heart, I'm gonna add a little more of a shadow, okay? So just outline what we've already done. I'm gonna add a little bit of this darker line, and I need a little water on my brush. Tiny little outline onto this side of my heart. And then all the way down to just the tip. So this is what mine looks like at the moment. We're adding a little bit of like a 3D effect to what looks like a heart, but definitely isn't on here. So yeah. Right now we've got a little bit going on this side and a little bit on this side. So if yours looks like this, you are doing amazing. If you're with someone else right now, tell them how good of a job they're doing. Take a sip of whatever it is that you're drinking. For me, it's water. Cheers, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Okay, moving on. We're gonna use that same purple that we just did, and we're gonna do it on this heart now too. Okay, so this heart is at a slightly different angle than the one before. So I'm gonna add a little bit of a shadow just on the top here. And if yours is at a different angle, then do what you can to mimic this kind of like shadow effect. But this is what mine looks like. Again, we're not going for an exact replica, we're going for a uniqueness. You know, everybody's is gonna look a little different. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of a shadow just to the outside of this heart shape here. Just like that. So this is where I'm at. Pause if you need to. Everyone is doing great. Everyone's doing good so far. Okay. How are we feeling? We're good. We're good. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna blend another color. If you've never blended paint colors in your life before, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back, because this is not, it's not easy, but you're doing it. We're all doing it. Okay, so the next color we're gonna blend, we've done a light pink. We've done kind of a murky purple. It's not the prettiest purple you've ever seen. It's like, she's not meant to be, she's not the moment. You know, like there's other things on this palette that are like having their moment, and this purple is just, she's not it. But what is it? We are gonna add a little bit of red, okay? So we're making a new color. We're gonna add some red and a tiny bit of black, and you're gonna make the ugliest red color you have ever seen. And if you're thinking, Amira, what the hell? Then you're on the right track. It's the perfect shade of red. If you're at the Amira, what the hell, we're doing good. I'm doing my job. Okay, so I've got kind of like this murky, a little bit disgusting kind of red color going, a little bit of red, a little bit of black. She's really, really dark, and that's okay. Okay, back to our canvas. If you needed to pause, just rewind a little to see the color that I got going, but a little bit of red, a little bit of black, you're on the right track. So now what we're gonna do, kind of where I've got my shadows going, we're gonna paint this color on top of the plain red that we have. Okay, so what we're going for, I've got this purple right here on this heart. I'm just gonna paint a little bit of this murky red kind of in my heart along where that shadow is. And you know what? I'm gonna do that on the other side too. So I've got this deep red. I'm just gonna kind of paint it along the edges of this shadow. And if it all kind of blends together, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. You've got exactly what we're going for. Like I'm losing some of that heart definition. Totally fine. Okay, so now that we've messed up the shape of this heart right here, we're gonna do the same thing on this heart right here. So then they can look the same. Okay, again, we're gonna add a little bit of this murky red color on top of this red and our shadow, and then a little bit more under this shadow, accentuating the dark parts of our, what look like hearts, but we don't know what they are really just yet, you know? Trust me, trust me. Okay, so if you're about here, you're perfect. You're doing good. We've got some shadows going. We've got what look like really dark hearts at the moment. We're golden. Okay, so the next step that we're gonna do, go ahead and clean off your brush. I know we have some of that like deep red color. I'm still using my medium-sized brush, so that's a good one to have. If you have a little bit of that purpley color, we're gonna return back to that, but if not, totally fine. So the purpley color, again, that we're gonna be using is gonna be red, a little bit of white, and a little bit of blue. And we're just kind of going for this like deep magenta. If it's not exactly the same as what we used before for a shadow, totally fine, like doesn't matter, as long as it's like a little similar. So red, white, and blue mixed together, it should be kind of like this deep magenta purple. Okay, now that we've got our colors mixed, what we're gonna do, so I've got this point in this heart shape where like the two halves meet and then they come down to our flat edge. So what I'm gonna do is halfway up my heart shape, like right in the very, very smack dab middle, I'm gonna make a little dot and draw a line straight down to the bottom. Okay, just like that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other one. Smack dab in the middle, paint a tiny little dot, and then a straight line, smack dab the middle, smack dab down the middle, there we go. Look at that. We have halfway cracked hearts. Isn't that fun? You're doing great. Okay, go ahead and clean off your brush. We are gonna change colors. Okay, so with your medium-sized brush, go ahead and mix together a tiny bit of white, and grab your white first or else it'll kind of get contaminated with the other colors. But we're gonna mix together gray. So I'm gonna take a little scoop of white and a little scoop of black, mixed together. So I've got this gray. And go ahead and mix enough of it that you can draw 2 straight lines with it, you know, you've got enough paint for that. And I'm still using my medium-sized brush, so no need to switch to a tiny one just yet. Okay, gray paint. We've got this straight line going halfway into our heart. We're gonna continue that with some gray paint. So with this, I'm gonna draw straight down. I'm losing a little bit of paint. Maybe you understand where this is going. Okay, straight down. Continuing the line of that purple earlier with my gray. And I'm gonna do that for both of these heart shapes. And this one's a little lower, so it might go just off my canvas. This is kind of what we're going for. Like that. Okay, go ahead and clean off your brush. We are done with the gray. We don't need that anymore. What we do need is that purple we've been looking for the whole time. That's not the main character purple. We don't have a main character purple. We are going for this purple right here. It's gonna be our red, blue, and white purple. And I'm mixing a little more red, blue, and white. Okay. You ready? I'm ready. Pause if you're not ready. That's allowed. It's totally fine. Okay, so we have this kind of shadow going on our hearts, and we're gonna continue the shadow idea by, on the right-hand side of both of our gray lines, we are going to add, actually, you know what? Pause. Switch your medium-sized brush for your teeny tiny brush if you have one. Go ahead and get that wet, dab it on your napkin so it's not sopping wet, and then go ahead and pick up some of that purpley paint color. Teeny tiny brush. It'll do the trick better than the medium-sized one. Okay, with this brush, I'm going to draw a line straight down my gray line on the right-hand side. Just like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing again with the other line. Does anyone else have to hold their breath when they draw a straight line? Because I know I do. For some reason I stop breathing. It's okay, breathe, breathe. It's okay. Take a sip of whatever it is you're drinking, tea, hot chocolate, wine, you know, straight vodka, shots, whatever. This is water, in case you were wondering. Okay, so this is kind of what we're working with right now. And now we're gonna go back to our medium-sized brush. I know I said we we're gonna put it away for a little bit, but she's back. Medium-sized brush. With this brush, we are going to mix together kind of a darker pink than our background color. So we're not going for Barbie pink, we're going for her older, more mature sister. So we're going for a little more red than white. Okay, so this is kind of the pink I'm going for. a little more reddish, a little less Barbie, because we've got the Barbie thing going. We're doing something else. Okay, with our new pinkish color, we are going to add a little bit of highlights to our heart shapes. So right up in here on the right-hand side, the right-hand heart, I'm just gonna add, don't think too much about this. We're just adding a little bit of color. If you're just blotting your paintbrush onto your canvas like this, do that. Do that. It's so easy. We're just adding a little bit of this light pink color to our brush, kind of mixing the red and our like deep, ugly, murky red together. Just a little bit of like shadowing. Look at that. We've given her life. How cute. Okay, and then the same thing on the other heart. So a little bit of color here. And a little bit on the other side too. You can pause here if you need, but this is what mine's looking like. This is kind of where I'm at. Okay. I think we're ready to move on to something a little different. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so, oops, drop my brush. It happens. I'm gonna take a little bit of blue and a little bit of white and mix it together to get like kind of a light blue. Not too light that like you couldn't tell there's blue in it, just enough. So I'm taking a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, mixing it together. I'm getting kind of a light blue. Not super duper light, but just lighter than blue by itself. Okay, back to our canvas. If your brush is not that wet, go ahead and like dab it in a tiny bit of water and mix in your paint color a little bit. You want to make sure you've got enough paint on your brush. So I've got this blue color going, and kind of on this left-hand side of my canvas, I'm going to do 2 candy canes joined together, but unlike these ones that have like a straight edge, we're gonna do a pointed edge instead. So it's gonna look kind of like a heart shape, but you know, it's not that. Okay, a little candy cane shape like this. And then a little candy cane shape like that, touching. It's like a sideways little heart. Except one end could be a little more heart-like. There we go. Just like that. And then go ahead and pause here if you need a second. And then when you're ready, go ahead and waft your canvas a little. We're gonna change colors, but we're gonna paint on top of some wet paint. So go ahead and give your canvas a waft, fan yourself. You know, you've earned it, you deserve it. Relax, take a sip of something, eat some food, and then go ahead and wash your brush off. So I'm gonna wash off my medium-sized brush, dab it off on my napkin. I'm gonna get a little more paint on it, but it's gonna be a different color. Okay, so I've got this medium blue. I'm gonna take white paint and I'm gonna mix it into this blue color. So I've got an obvious difference now. You see that? Like I've got a light blue going. You can even add a little more white if you want, but I'm just mixing it in on my palette. So I've got this different color going, okay? We want a lighter blue than what you already have on your canvas. So now what we're gonna do, I'm going to draw a heart shape on top of this one that I've drawn. But we're giving it this 3D effect. And don't overthink it, don't overthink it. We're just gonna draw this exact shape, but on top of it, if that makes sense. So kind of starting where the middle is, I'm going to start my candy cane shape like that. Okay, so a little bit of this darker blue is exposed. Just a little candy cane, and then I'm gonna do my other candy cane. So it's overlapping a little bit, and I've got this 3D look. Okay, go ahead and clean your brush off. We're done. We're done with the blue color. We're moving on. Now, what we're gonna do is we are going to make a new color. We're gonna blend together a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red, and we're going for kind of like a deep orange. So if you use a little more red than yellow, totally fine. Okay, so I've got this orangey color. It's a little too light for me, so I'm gonna add a tiny bit more red. We want this kind of like fiery orange color going. Okay. We've got our orange. I'm still using my medium-sized brush, and this step might seem a little familiar because we've just done it, so don't overthink it. We are going to do a little candy cane shape. You can pick whichever direction this one's facing. For me, it's just gonna be straight up and down, a little boring, and then another candy cane shape joined together with a point. Look at that, a little, what looks like a heart. Okay, this is where I'm at. Mine's a little smaller than the first one, so I'm gonna make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay, if you can guess what the next step is, you're doing great. If you can't guess what the next step is, you're also doing great. Everybody relax. It's Paint Sip and it's Valentine's. Okay, so the next step is we're gonna add a little bit of white to our orange mix. We're gonna make this color a lot lighter than what we've used before, kind of like what we did with the blue paint. Okay, look at that. I've got a very obvious difference between the color that I used before and this new color that's kind of in the middle, just because I mixed a little bit of white. So we're gonna paint another heart shape on top of this one, but we're gonna paint it a little off center. So again, it has that kind of like 3D effect. So from kind of the middle, I'm gonna do a candy cane shape that doesn't perfectly line up with the one I just painted. And then another one. Again, not lining up perfectly with what I've just painted. So this is kind of what I'm working with. Pause here if you need. I need an extra second. Go ahead and clean off your brush. We are going to change colors yet again. There's no shortage of that. And if you've never mixed colors in your life before and you're doing all of this and making all of this, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back, because if this is new to you, you are doing fantastic. Okay, moving on. We're gonna make green. If you don't see green on your palette, that's not on accident. We can make green because we have red, yellow, and blue, which are actually the primary colors. So how we're going to mix green, if you don't have it as like a separate paint color, we're gonna take a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue and blend them together to make green. Look at that, whole new color. And then I've added a little extra blue to mine to make it a little darker. Here's a little hint, heads up. We're gonna do something that we've done twice before now, where we start with a color that's a little darker and then make one that's a little lighter. So I've got like a kind of dark green going. That's perfect. Returning back to our canvas. I'm gonna do another one of these little heart shapes, and I'm gonna paint it right in between these two lollipop-esque looking things. Two candy canes meeting together with a little pointy. Perfect. Pause here if you need a second. And then what's next? I'm gonna add, you guessed it, a little bit of white to my green mix. And now I've made an extra light, like kind of lime green, sage green, whatever, super light green. And you know what? I'm gonna paint another heart on top of this one, but a little off center so it gives that 3D effect. A little candy cane. Just like that. Okay, go ahead and clean off your medium-sized brush. We're done with it. We are retiring that brush for the rest of this piece. Go ahead and pick up your teeny tiny brush, and we're gonna give our canvases a little waft because we just added 3 different elements of all different colors on them. They might be a little wet. Go ahead and give it a little waft. Perfect. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we are going to grab just white, no mixing, no blending, nothing like that, just a little white on our canvas or on our teeny tiny paintbrush. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to these 2 shapes here, and I'm going to paint just a little bit of a white streak on this, a little bit of glossiness, just kind of on this heart shape, along the edges and a little bit over the middle. Spoiler alert, it's a lollipop. And you've just puckered it, so it's a little glossy. And you know what? We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and get a tiny bit of white on your paintbrush, your little one, detail brush, and just make a few little white marks along the sides, maybe a tiny bit over the middle, like this whole lollipop is glossy. Perfect. We've got a little gleaming going, we've got a little glistening, you know, freshly puckered pop. And then go ahead and get just white. We're just doing white. On your canvas, these gray lines, we're gonna add white just to the very left side. A little bit of highlighting. Straight line if you're holding your breath. Breathe. Deep breaths, everybody. And then again on the other side, just a straight line. Mine's not very straight, but that's okay. I'm talking and doing this. Breathing still, perfect. Okay, this is what yours looks like. Amazing. If yours looks completely different, more power to you. You know what? Art is all about expressing yourself and creativity. The amount of times I've had students in my classes paint something completely different is a lot. So it's self-expression. That's what art is. And I'm encouraging you to do your thing. So this is just a suggestion. Okay, go ahead and get your teeny tiny brush wet again. I'm just dipping it in my water, cleaning off all the white, and then dabbing it on my napkin. If your napkin's super messy and you don't have any dry spots left, go ahead and get yourself a clean napkin. I have an extra here if you need it, but I'm here and you're there, so yeah, it's fine. Go ahead and get yourself a clean napkin. And we're gonna go back to that super ugly purple color that's not the main character, but she keeps showing up. You know, she's, I don't know what kind of award it is, maybe not a Grammy, Oscar. She's looking for an Oscar, but she's a supporting actress in this. Okay, if you need a little refresher, we need a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. And if yours is a little too blue, like mine, add a little more red and a little bit more red. And hey, a little more red because my blue thinks, yeah, there we go. And then just keep mixing. We're just getting this nice little murky reddish lavender color. These are all very technical, artsy fartsy like terms, you know, so that's fun. Okay. Teeny tiny brush, murky lavender reddish, not main character color. We're gonna go back to our little blue, yellow, and green heartsease, and we're gonna give them each a little shadow. So with this murky color, I'm just kind of tracing the outline of the darker of the two colors that we did. So I've kind of like given myself a little bit of a difference in, we made them 3D already, and now we're just giving them a little shadow, just like that. And then go ahead and do this to all three, but make sure your shadow stays on the right-hand side of your shape because we've got this like one light source coming, giving everything a little shadow this way. So for this one, my shadow is going to be in a little different spot. So I'm going to do my shadow just up here along the tops and then kind of along here on the bottom. Light source is coming this way. My shadow is going to be everywhere the light can't get to. Just like that. And then go ahead and get a little more of that lavender murky red color and add your shadow to the last little heart. Just along the bottom and a little bit over this edge. Just like that. I think it looks pretty cute. And then go ahead and clean off your teeny tiny brush. And now's the fun part. You get to turn me off, get me off the screen, and you know what? With a teeny tiny brush, if you're brave enough, take just red and write in these little hearts, "Be mine," like yours truly, XOXO, whatever those tiny little candy hearts say. Go ahead and try and paint that in on every single one. Don't forget to sign your canvas because you're an artist. You've painted an amazing painting today. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for being a part of my very first Paint and Sip on YouTube. And